Hey everybody, I'm going to go ahead and model for you model example 2, which is the second assignment for activity 4.8b. And the first thing I want you to pay attention to in the directions is that for this figure that you're going to be building, notice that all dimensions are going to be in centimeters. So I'm going to be showing you how to change and edit your dimensions from inches, which is most likely it's defaulted to centimeters. And then again, obviously most important then is to make sure you're saving and naming that file correctly, which is model example 2 underscore your last name. Okay, so let's go ahead back to Onshape to get started with this figure. And we're going to go ahead and select create. I'm going to select document. And we're going to name it model example 2 underscore your last name. You'll notice this becomes a pretty consistent theme as how we're going to name these files. And click OK. Okay, give it a second to open. Okay, and then it opens up and gives us our 3 default work planes, just like normal, top, front, right. All right, first thing, before we start actually drawing anything or selecting any sketches and work planes to draw on, we are going to go ahead and change our dimensions from inches to centimeters. So to do that, what you have to do is you're going to go up onto the top of your toolbar here. And if you notice in the top left corner, there's 3 horizontal lines, one stacked on top of the other. And so you're going to select that. That's the document menu. Once you click on it, you're going to get a little drop down. You're going to go down to workspace units. Click on workspace units, and then you're going to change the default length unit. And currently it's in inches, so we're going to change that by hitting the little drop down, and we're going to change it to centimeters. Now notice you have some other options here as well. So if you ever needed to build something in a different unit of measure, you could do that. But we're going to use centimeters for this example. And once we do that, we have to change it to centimeters, and then make sure you click on the little green box with the check mark in it. Okay, so now our unit of measurement is set. And so now we're ready to start drawing our figure, but first we need to identify the dimensions that are being given. So again, we can kind of notice the shape of it here is a rectangle, and with another set of cutout sections, kind of like model example number 1 was. So again, I'm going to focus on the front face and draw this rectangle, and then on that sketch, again, add another corner rectangle to cut out this area, and then we'll extrude it back. So the overall height, since we're dealing with the front face, the overall height is top to bottom. But again, you can't really see that in this view on this side or on this side. But if you look towards the back, it's a little faded out here, but you can see the 40 is pointing with these dimension lines here from top edge to bottom edge. So the height is going to be 40 centimeters, and then the width is left to right. So that'll be 60 centimeters. So that's what I'm going to start to draw first. So I'm going to go back to my figure. Again, I'm going to hide the top and the right. I'm going to focus on the front, so I'm going to select sketch. I'm going to select the front work plane to place my sketch, and then again, change my view to focus on the front. Again, zoom in, zoom out. All right, so again, I'm going to go to rectangle. I'm going to choose center point rectangle. And again, click on the origin point, drag open. This time I'm in centimeters, and I'm going to dimension. So I'm going to click on the top edge, drag up, make that 60, hit enter. Now when I hit enter, notice my view gets really large. All of a sudden my whole view is gray because we made it pretty big for my screen. So just go and click on the front view of my view cube, and it'll kind of resize it there. And then what we're going to do is going to select the right side edge, click on that, and then make that 40 and hit enter. So now it kind of resizes it again. And again, you can use the zoom feature to kind of go in and out as needed. All right, we need to add one more detail again to this view. And what we are going to do is add this rectangle here. And that also will have a distance. So the height of that rectangle, which is going to be connected to the top edge of the rectangle we just drew, is going to be 15. And then the width, again, they don't give us the width. All right. What they do is they dimension it from the outside edges. So from the left edge, it'll be 10, and from the right edge, it will be 25. Okay. But if we took 60 added these two together, which would be 35, 60 minus 35 is 25. So I would know the width is 25 as well, if we could do it that way. So I'm going to go ahead back to my view. I'm going to select corner rectangle this time. Corner rectangle, good. I'm going to select the top edge, okay. And again, I'm not selecting the corner, okay. I'm going to start my rectangle slightly inside that corner and then click one time and drag. And then I'm going to let it go. Okay, and now I will dimension that area. So the height, again, just to double check, is 15. Okay, so I'm going to select the dimension tool and I'm select the left edge, make that 15. Okay, and then from the outside edge to here, well, actually, you know what? No, I'll go ahead and dimension that. So I know that the left edge is 10 and then the outside is 25. Okay. Just always double checking my dimensions. Okay, so I'm going to select the left edge here to the left edge of the figure, drag up, make that 10. Okay. And then from this edge, the right edge of the rectangle I drew to the outside edge is 25. Okay. And now I know it's placed in the right location and I know it already has the right correct width. And so now all I need to do, just like I did in the model example number 1, is I'm going to go ahead and trim this top edge away so it looks like it's cut out. So I'm going to use the trim tool, which is the little scissors button. I'm going to select the top edge. Again, you might have to click it 2 times. Click on it once, click on it twice, and now it goes away. All right, and that's all that goes on the front face. So now I'm ready to go ahead and hit the little green box with the check mark in it. And then I'm going to hit isometric view because now I'm ready to extrude it again. And so I'm going to go ahead and look at my extrusion. So what is the depth of my figure? So the depth, again, is from the front edge to the back edge. And notice here on the right side, you can see what that depth is. So that's 30. So I'm going to go back and extrude it 30. So I'm going to go ahead and select extrude. I'm going to select the profile that I am using. Again, notice it pushes it forward, so I'm going to push it back in the opposite direction. So I'm going to choose this little angled arrow next to blind. And then I'm going to change my depth to 30 and hit enter. Okay. Now I have my extrusion going in the correct direction. So I'm going to go ahead and select the green check mark. All right, and put it back into isometric view. And notice again, I have my front work plane still kind of visible, which I don't need anymore, so I'm going to just hide it. Now, the last step that I need to take is to add this little cutout rectangle here on the right side face. So again, very similar to what I did before, I'm going to place a corner rectangle on the right side face by adding a sketch and then dimension it correctly. So the height of that rectangle is 10 and the width is 15. So I'm going to start with that. So again, creating a sketch, making sure I'm selecting the right side surface of the rectangle that I just extruded, or the figure that I just extruded. And again, it adds another sketch too. I'm going to focus on the right side area by clicking on the view cube. And now I'm ready to go ahead and select corner rectangle again. And again, making sure I'm not lined up with the midpoint. I know it's kind of, it looks like you really want to select there, but it's probably best if you don't. And so I'm going to go ahead and click and then drag out an area. And again, just to double check. So I'm 10 by 15. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and dimension. I'm going to select the right side edge, make that 10, enter. And then I click on the top edge, make that 15. So that gives it the height and width we're looking for. But now, again, we have to locate this rectangle. So we're going to locate it by the outside edges of the figure. And if we notice here, the outside left edge to the outside left edge of the figure is 3. And then from the bottom edge of the figure to the bottom edge of our rectangle is going to be 5. That's this dimension right here. And so now I'm going to go ahead and select dimension. So I'm going to click on the outside edge to here and then make that 3, enter. And then from the bottom edge to here, okay, make that 5, enter. So now we have our rectangle in the correct location. So we're ready to finish our sketch. We're going to go ahead and go back to isometric view. And last but not least is we're going to extrude it. Now on the document that you shared with you, it doesn't have a depth for this, so we're just going to push it all the way through the part so it looks like there's a hole in it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and select extrude. Okay, I'm going to select the rectangle area that I want to extrude. Now obviously it's going to push it out, but this time we're going to select remove. And then by remove, what we're going to do is instead of having a specific depth, what we're going to do is we're going to make it go through all. So if we hit the little down arrow, which is the end type, we're going to change that from blind to through all. And what that will do is it'll send it all the way through our part. So once I've done that, I'm good. And then I'm going to hit the little green box with the check mark. That will finish it. Now to make sure that I've done that and it has gone all the way through, if I hit the little corners on my view cube, it'll rotate around so I can see that the rectangle that I just extruded goes all the way through the part, so it's on there on both sides. So then I can just make sure it's in the right view. It's an isometric view, and that is our figure. So that is 4.8b, model example 2. If you have any questions, just let me know.